Today we got the brand new trailer for The Forsaken, and it looks very cool actually. There's a lot of stuff in here that I want to go over, and also not just in the trailer, because alongside the trailer we did get a blog post that kind of explained a little bit more from things here and there. So we'll definitely go over everything that is important inside this and just kind of break it all down. But with all that said, let's go ahead and hop into this. And the first thing I think we should talk about is just how it seems like the map is going to be laid out and how you're going to be getting around the map. Because as we kind of suspected from the, the teaser we got yesterday, that we are going to be able to play outside of the facility and we're going to be able to go inside these containers and stuff like that. And how we actually get from this area of the map into the actual big old facility is actually by using teleporters. And it seems like there's a lot of teleporters in this. I think I counted 5 throughout the trailer, but 2 of them may not be usable here. Instead, I think one of them is probably for like kind of that intro that you get, you know, how we normally get dropped off by Raptor 1, and then we had Kravchenko drop us off also. But in this one, I think is going to be Samantha teleporting us in, so I don't think that's one we're going to be able to use, so we can knock that one down. But then there's also another teleporter that we saw a teaser of, and it's a really big teleporter, and this one, at least in the trailer, is where we saw the new Margwa come out of. So I don't know if we can use that one, because I think that's going to be more like the teleporter inside of Mauer Toten, where you could see the teleporter but you can't actually go through it. So I think it might be a situation like that, but it would be really cool if we could teleport into at least some area of the dark ether. But speaking of that big teleporter, what came out of that? What I just said a little bit ago, that big old Margwa's son. And the Margwa's son ain't no joke. This Margwa's son is a big boy, bigger than the original Margwa, and also has some new abilities, because it looks like this Margwa can straight shoot electricity from its mouth. Like, what's even going on here, brother? Like, this Margwa looks insane. It's humongous. It's like, has like walks on like really weird, and it just has 3 heads shooting electricity from 3 heads. It's just an insane looking boss, and this is just something that I love to see. I love to see crazy looking bosses and zombies, and this is something I really do like, so I'm all here for it. Hopefully it's not too difficult, because I can imagine this thing could get quite annoying if it is too difficult like it currently looks, but at least it looks really cool. Another thing that was pretty prominent inside this trailer and also the blog post is the new wonder weapon, the Chrystalax. And this is actually kind of what we expected from the, initial teaser we got for it. And it's actually going to have 2 different modes. Like, you can convert it, I think, on the go, kind of like the wave gun, between its 2 different modes. And there's one that we see is a melee mode that just whacks the zombies away, and probably does more, but at least what we see, it just whacks the zombies away. Hopefully we could throw it in the melee mode. Imagine how cool that would be if you could like kind of use it as the similar to the Hell's Retriever, just throw it and it comes back to you, and you could also swing. That would be so cool. Just the idea of that would be so cool. But also you can convert it to its firing mode, which shoots some electric beams or something, like some dark ether beams. We didn't actually see it being used. We only heard about it in the blog post for how it's going to work in its firing mode. But hopefully that's good as well, because if it's not, that's gonna be a little cringe. But either way, Chrystalax looks amazing, and hopefully it's really powerful. Another important thing we saw are the 2 perk machines, which one's for a new perk and one's not. And the first one we'll mention is Death Perception actually gets a perk machine inside this game, because we didn't get it in Season 5. Even though we got Death Perception, we didn't get a perk machine, so we actually got a perk machine for it. And I gotta say, it looks very nice, because this is the first time we've ever seen Death Perception with a perk machine, because before this it was originally introduced in BO4, and BO4 did not have unique perk machines. So it's nice to see that we get an actual perk machine for Death Perception, and I do like the look of it. But for the other perk machine we got was actually for PhD Slider. It's not PhD Flopper, it's PhD Slider, and the perk machine looks nice. But as for the perk itself, this is brand new, so we got to be able to learn about this. And just like every perk inside Cold War, you get a default ability, and then you get the rest of the abilities that you have to use to get crystals in order to upgrade it to all tier 5 of its abilities. And what we know about the abilities is the default ability and 2 out of the 5 upgrades, because these were revealed in the blog blog post, and let's go over these. So the default ability for PhD Slider is going to be sliding into enemies triggers an explosion, and also the further you slide into the enemies, the bigger the explosion. So hopefully this explosion is good, because I can imagine it could be quite annoying, and not like, it'd be annoying if it wasn't good. So I'm interested to see how that's going to be playing out. I wonder if it's going to be like infinite damage, as long as you get like a really good slide, it's always going to kill like a lot of zombies. And if that's the case, I wonder if it's going to be super broken, like Treyarch actually been doing this entire season. It's broken initially and then they nerf it as time goes on, because I can imagine it would be fun to like go for high round, just get a train and then just slide into your train, kill it, and that's the entire train gone. I think that would be cool, at least at launch. If you want to nerf it later, go ahead, but I love to see something like that. But for the known tier upgrades, the first one is to be immune from self-inflicted explosive damage. So what we know PhD to be used for is to make you immune to explosive damage, and that's exactly what it's going to do here from a tier upgrade. So when you get it in its default form, don't expect it to protect you from your ray gun splash damage or anything like that, because it doesn't seem like that's going to work, at least until you upgrade it to the proper tier. And the other tier ability, and the last ability we know of it, is that it can actually trigger an explosion from falling from vertical direction, so falling straight down. And that is interesting, because I can't imagine how many times that's going to happen to you, and I don't think there's many locations on the map for this even to be useful. So it's an ability, I guess. It doesn't sound anything useful, but it's at least something. But regardless, the last thing I want to mention about this perk is that it will be on every map, of course, through the Wonder Fizz machine, so that is something we also love to see. And that kind of wraps it up for all of the major gameplay things. There's also smaller things I could have pointed out, but I don't think they're as important. But the last 2 or 3 things I want to mention here is first some story stuff, because the first thing that we hear in this trailer, for at least the zombies portion of it, is that Weaver is telling us that Zykov is mission priority 1, which obviously, if you guys have been paying attention to the story, seems like is going to be the main goal of this, that Omega has found a way to help Zykov escape the Dark Ether, and both Omega and Requiem want to get their hands on him because he seems to know a lot about the Dark Ether, and is more importantly knows how to defeat the Forsaken, which at this point it seems like that Omega maybe has already taken Zykov out of the Dark Ether, but something went wrong, and for some reason this zombie outbreak started at this test site. So I think that's what at least the setup for the story is going to be, and I think we have a better idea of what that may be based on something we saw during the trailer, and it was some actually blood written words on the wall that said Kravchenko lied, which is very, very interesting, because this could mean one of 2 things. Because one way you could look at this is that what we learned from the intel is that Kravchenko and Peck are actually lying to Zykov here, because Zykov, the reason why he just wants to escape the Dark Ether is to help us fight against the Forsaken. But secretly, Kravchenko and Peck are coming up with a little plan to, instead of defeating the Forsaken, instead trying to capture the Forsaken in order to use it to do some crazy stuff, to make some insane things, because we all know how powerful the Forsaken is. So it could be that, or it could be something else, and maybe Kravchenko is a little bit more devious than he even seems like he's being. Maybe he is siding with the Forsaken or something like that. I don't know. My brain's going wild on coming up with different ideas for what this could mean by just having it written on the wall of Kravchenko live, because I feel like regardless of what exactly it is, it probably has to do with why an outbreak started at this location, because there wasn't supposed to be one here. But regardless, the last thing I want to mention is what a lot of people are pointing out on the wall. I saw this on my first watch back of this trailer, and it's actually on the theater area of this. It has a little Easter egg that says, "Coming soon, Nachtdruntoten," which is interesting because a lot of people are speculating that this is not just a throwaway Easter egg, but it's actually hinting at maybe Nachtdruntoten being a map that comes with Vanguard zombies or something of that nature, which would be interesting, to be completely honest, because if we are in the Dark Ether story, and let's just say it is a bonus map to come at launch for Vanguard zombies, it would be interesting, because at the time of Vanguard, or because it's during World War 2. We do know from what we learned at the very start of this Dark Aether story is that the location of Noct in this world is the same location as Die Machina and that end station lab there, and it could do something in terms of storyline there, which would be interesting, but honestly, I'm just not sure if I think that this is actually the case. So I don't know, we're going to have to wait and see if this is something that is actually turns out to be significant or if it's just a throwaway Easter egg. But either way, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about the Forsaken from everything we've seen here today. You guys liking what you're seeing, hating what you're seeing? What do you think about anything, whether it be the wonder weapon, the map itself, the Forsaken, or even the storyline? I'd love to hear all those thoughts in the comment section below. But regardless, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff, because you know we're going to be covering DLC 4 or the Forsaken to the fullest extent that we can, and it's going to be a blast. But regardless, I'm going to go. I'll catch you guys in the next one.